Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another review, and today I'm going to be taking a look at another one of these absolutely astounding SNAA Beyond Exquisite model kits, aka their answer to Bandai's real grade. This right here is the Titan Greatsword Tristan, and if there is one thing you can say about this line right here, it's just such a cool concept. They're basically making the Knights of the Round Table in mecha form, and they look absolutely astounding. This one here looking especially nice. Anyway, this right here is the box. This is giving us the general idea of what we'll be seeing inside. There is the Tristan itself. On the side of the box, you get a better idea of what we're going to be seeing. So some nice royal colors here. White, gold, and a nice kind of greenish blue. On the side, it's pretty much the front art yet again. A nice line art on that side right there. And if I'm not mistaken, there's an image of what the finished kit will look like, and again, absolutely astounding looking. There's the rear of the box with tons of images of what it will look like. These have full inner frames, so you get to build that and attach all the armor onto it. But yeah, without any further ado, let's get it out of the box. So I'm busting open the box, we're treated to quite a few plastic runners in here. Now I will mention the gold parts here seem to be painted on the runners, so no injection gold. It will be interesting to see how that turns out. We do have some clear parts as well, which look incredible. A whole ton of plastic in an array of colors, including dark navy blue and white. We have water slide decals included too, and here's the manual. When it comes to the manual, we've got the box art on the front again, the list of runners around back, so 13 of those in total. Some images about the actual finished kit here looking incredible. Looks like you can keep the sword inside of the shield. That is a nice touch. How to put on the decals and the overall build. These are simple enough to build. They're very, very nice kits. Highly recommended so far, but anyway, let's get into that build. So first up, we're going to be starting with the leg, and just look how impressive the inner frame on these kits are. So it's two-toned in color. That's a light kind of neutral gray and a little bit of a darker gray in there. On top of that, we do have some of the color separation of the lovely clear parts back here, as well as some of the gold, but it is held in there so nicely. Sometimes the parts are a little bit, you kind of don't realize you've pushed them together, not because they're rubbery-ish plastic, but overall very nice. We've got a moving gimmick in the knee, which looks great. Lots of nice articulation too. This is impressive. As for building one, the hips right here are designed like this, so you've got a usual kind of pivoting hinge made out of 3 pieces, which completes like so. The buildup of the various elements is quite simple, and the instructions are incredibly simple to follow. So that is what the inside of the knee looks like. So we do have a moving piston aspect. I'll also mention most of these parts are undergated, so you don't get too many nubs. When there are nubs, they just kind of rub away very simply. You just rub with your nail and they'll disappear like so. If they are a little bit rougher like this, I always recommend Gun Primer's Racer Glass File. This won't leave any kind of scrape marks behind, so if you've got a little bit of a nub, just give it a quick blast of that and it's clean as a whistle. The lower leg attaches on like so, and this is where you throw in those nice little detailed aspects. Clear part and the part painted in gold. Now I will mention the part that is painted in gold, you do have to nip a nub away. On the inside it is a kind of similar colored plastic, so you don't really notice, but also the nub fell right behind this little gray section here, so it does get covered up even though you do have to nip from the surface. Fantastic design. Again, a very nice design for the ankle. You make up a 3-piece joint like so that attaches into this pivoting section. The rest of the foot then builds onto that central part just like so. There is the complete inner frame of the foot, and then it just all goes together like ball joint, hip joint, and again, absolutely impressive. Moving down to the waist now, and first off you build a bit of a joint, then you throw in some dropping hips into these outer segments. This then is followed up what I assume is the ab crunch joint right here. Some more moving elements front and back, and then these lock together nicely. Interesting sliding assembly to what I assume is going to be the side skirt pegs. They slide down, up, and then slide into a locked position. Close this part in, attach this part down from above, and finally this bit slides into the back, holding it all together. So yeah, a lot of moving elements down here already, and we don't even have the armor on. Impressive. Moving on to the torso, we've got these very intricate joints to build for the shoulders. They just slot in like so. Rear section into the back. Sandwich this in from up top. Neck joint, the waist joint, upper waist joint. And I will mention at this point that some of the parts are very hard to push together, so I do use a needle nose pliers in order to do it, because these are some tight joints. Those 2 joints attach on into this segment and then in to the upper body. So there we go. There is the inner frame of the upper body complete. Pretty cool. Next up, we've got the inner frame of the arm again, 2-tone gray looking fantastic, and a little splash of gold right on the back of the forearm. We've got a standard kind of hinge joint up here for the shoulder, swivel at the bicep, 2-point bend at the elbow, and overall impressive. Overall simple assembly, 2 parts attached together for the forearm. The upper arm is a single piece, there's the inside of the joint. Detail pops on with this Iron-Blooded Orphan's tricep. Nice bit of gold detailing, and then you just pop on the shoulder joint like that. Alright, so just popping the inner frame together just to see what it looks like. So far, these have always looked extremely nice. The dual tone gray on here looking particularly impressive. A little bit difficult to tell front from back with some aspects like the torso, but I suppose the shoulder's going to move forward, so that must be the front. And then just popping it on like so. So there we go. That is the inner frame of the Beyond Exquisite Tristan. So looking extremely nice. Again, the gold little detailing on it being the most impressive part, as well as the clear parts popping through. Overall, really nice to see in a 1/44 scale kit, even though it is quite a big 1/44 scale kit. So next up it is time to get the armor on, and there is one leg armored up already. This is incredible. We've got some nice color passing through the gray from underneath. You can still see that great detail around back in there, and overall the design of this is incredible. 2 shades of white, a white and a very light gray, and the way it just catches the light. This might be the nicest one of these I have seen to date. When it comes to building it up, you throw some armor onto the back. Again, these slot on very nicely. Some more upper armor, separated out twin tone of white on this piece, attaches onto the front of the upper leg, 2 side pieces of armor, shin armor, armor onto the side vents, layering some armor in 2 pieces onto the knee, some nice rear calf armor, and then layering some side calf armor on with some light gray, followed by pristine white, which lets the gray sections out from underneath at 2 points. Lovely. Down to the foot now, popping on some navy blue, white, and then 2 parts attach either side of the heel, like so for the foot. The ankle armor is really cool. It attaches on via a ball joint around back like that. And then the front segment comes from the other side and then slots right down it like so, completing the entire armor. But it is locked into the back. Finally, then you just throw on the foot, and there you go. Inner frame and armor. What an incredible design. The build then continues at the waist unit with some nice side skirts, gold detail around front. The build then continues along nicely with some layering around front just like so. Around back we have an interesting design where this gold section pops in and tucks in under. So you've got these little segments here, and then when you actually attach on the under kind of mechanical section, that locks it in. That's nice. A premium butt flap because we do have a nice bit of articulation right there where it attaches onto, and then the pair of side skirts attach on then just like that. That is absolutely obscenely beautiful. So moving down to the torso, and first up you armor up around the waist with the navy blue. The armor then starts building up onto the front of the torso, some white, already layering on some of that beautiful gold, as well as some of that clear blue on top of the gold like that, which mounts up on top of what we already did. Looking good. Collar armor coming down and locking in from above. More of that gold detailing. Some more armor onto the front. Some gray armor onto the side, and I really have to exaggerate just how perfectly everything on this slots into position. Nothing's awkward, nothing has any fitting issues, and it just slots nicely. It was only really the inner frame that had some parts that took a bit of pushing together, but I suppose you do want some strength in those joints. Looking good. And there we go, there is the torso complete, looking absolutely incredible. Gold, clear blue, green on white, amazing. So moving along the armoring, and now back to the arm. 2 pieces of side white armor attach up there, followed with a little front segment like so. Some white forearm armor. You attach together this gray piece and this white piece, and then they attach onto the front like so. Everything layers on nicely to hold together what was previously put together tightly, so that cuff holds on the armor we just attached. A nice 3-layered gray, navy blue, and gold segment here. Again, the gray comes through from underneath. Very nicely done. Nicely done. Then you pop on a white piece, followed by that gold section like that. So that's 4 pieces, not just the 3 I mentioned. Very nice bracer. That then mounts onto the side of the arm, just like that. Very nice. Shoulder armor starts off with a bang with a little splash of gold in there. And again, that's some nice gold paint. I'm actually sad I didn't build up this little segment right here while doing the inner frame, because this is a fully inner framed shoulder armor segment. As you can see, the arm goes through there, and there's the actual inner frame of the shoulder armor. Nice. This is one of the nicest kind of shoulder thrusters I have ever seen it. a gold section pops inside to come through like that beautifully, and then attaches onto that shoulder armor just like that. That's nice. Grey and navy blue detail pop together for this little segment that attaches on top nicely. And the way they've done this color separation is oh so perfect. So you just slot this white section down from above and it all comes through molded expertly. So nice. Lastly, then we've got a side piece of armor, just pops on then that finalizes the shoulder. So the arm just slips on through it like that. And that is what the arm looks like complete. Again, the gold painted parts are some of the nicest I've ever seen amalgamated into a model kit ever. That is so good. So nicely done. Onto the backpack now, and the detailing on these parts is so nice. It's almost looking like Warhammer parts as opposed to something you'd see in a Gundam kit. Again, some nice gold detailing popping right on through there like so. You build up some joints for this flap right here and that attaches in, so you got a cover and you still got a window into that little kind of gold part. That is so cool. The design of this, damn, SNAA have brought it to the next level design wise. A few more parts layer up, you attach this little bit on then underneath, again the detail looking stupendous. Some more side parts attaching on like so, and then to finally bring it together you attach these bits around here into those slots like so, and then it just slides on down around like so, and you still have a little window into that gold part in there. That's pretty cool. So last up in the build is the head, and this it right here. Look at that. That is absolutely regal, absolutely royal, and amazing looking. We'll mention we have two choices for eyes, gold or green. I think there's a lot of gold here already, so that wouldn't work so well, but they are included. They're that tiny right there. And when it does come to the build of this, you have to throw the eyes in from the back. Again, these are fully color separated. No stickers for correcting colors inside of this kit. You pop on the muzzle, then a little bit of gold from underneath to lock everything together. Two grey parts attach onto the sides to make the inner frame of the head, and then you start layering on the white from the top, sides, some grey color separation, top and back, some V-fin looking armor followed by the actual V-fin itself, which is a gem in some gold, pops onto the front, and again, looks like this right here. Insanely nice. Wow, there was a lot of building in this guy right here, and as you can see from all these knobs all over the place, there's a ton of undergating in this kit, so it's a lot of snipping to be done. Overall though, I am hugely impressed by this. When it comes to the assembly, it is pegs for the hips, they pop in like that. And I have to say, you really do bring this so far from that inner frame right back at the beginning of the video. This is incredible. I have to say, I've only built two of these before, I believe. This is my third, and this one is by far the most impressive. It's almost kind of taken the best aspects of both, melted them together, and that first one, again, I can't remember the name of it at all, but I'll pop it in a little while later in a size comparison. It's like a completely world away from this when it comes to design and quality. Ooh, I hate that. Ooh. Quite the tough attachment of the head on there. I guess it's not going to come rolling off on me, but that V-fin does feel a little on the brittle side. If there's one thing I would love SNAA to do is include a second V-fin inside of the box, you know, just in case we do get some mild issues while building or posing. But look at that. That looks incredible. This is quite big for a 1/44th scale kit, and the detail is off the charts, and it feels spectacular. So jumping on into the aesthetics now, and there's the SNAA Titan Greatsword Tristan. Just snap built, nothing extra done, I have to say. This is absolutely astonishingly nice. Now first off right here, I will mention that I did actually spend a lot more time building this than I thought. To kind of just put it into a bit of perspective, this took me longer to build than the Master Grade God Gundam, which is a Master Grade kit. Again, a simpler, older Master Grade kit, but the Titan Greatsword right here, or should I say the Tristan right here, took even longer. So it does mean I'm going to have to expedite the review a little bit, and I didn't even finish building everything. There's still some hands left over because this thing comes with an absolute plethora of hands. But aesthetically, this kit right here, when it comes to the overview, is a stunner. It's got some great angles, great design. The gold and the clear green blue on white just is such a regal combination. The whole thing just gels together so perfectly with some great overall proportions and a beautiful silhouette. Detailing here is amazing. Again, blown away by the combination of that beautifully painted gold and the crystal parts. Absolutely gorgeous. No matter where you look on this kit, you're going to find something amazing. The legs on this have been designed to absolute perfection, front and back. No matter where you take a little peek on this kit, you're going to find something ridiculously detailed, and the kind of weaving in of those nice gold parts so tastefully just works so well. Getting in a little bit closer and starting off with the head, the way the gold and that crystal catch the light is just so perfect. Most of this kit here is undergated, so it means you're not going to get a lot of nubs around the place. But it does mean the build is going to take quite a lot of time. But in the end, if the kit looks perfect, that's what you want to see. Moving down to the torso now, and again, exquisite detail, beautiful gold, a little bit of the crystal clear, almost looking like eyes in the chest. There is a lot of panel lines in this kit. They may be a little bit on the hard side to see because I haven't actually lined them up and the lighting can wash them out a little bit. But overall, it's just got a nice combo of jewel-colored white panel lines and beautiful details. Even around back of the backpack, the detailing is absolutely spectacular. Lots of little kind of mechanical looking aspects in there. Like I said, there's a window into the gold and it's all layered up nicely. Jewel tone, dark grays here. When it comes to the arms, these are incredible looking. A lot of times, with some robot model kits, the arms can be a little bit on the dull side, but not here. Again, we've got gold coming through from underneath for the thrusters, which looks great. Some really nice overall detailing in the panels. Gray coming through from underneath, and again, some nice gold, complementing the navy blue perfectly. Around on the back of the arms, the Tristan seems to be armored a little more lightly, so you can see some piping. Some gray up top, gold down bottom. Skirting armor looking incredible as well. Great molded detail, clear parts, gold on the side skirtings, and just the butt flap itself around back is a sheer work of art itself. The way they've made that big gold bladed segment drop out and down. Look at that, just catches the light spectacularly. One part of a Gundam I'd never really expect to be blown away by is the back of the legs, but what SNAA have done here is incredible. Again, we've got those clear parts, gold piping, and you can see pretty much all of this from whatever angle you're looking at from the back. Insane. What can I say? Overall, no matter what angle you look at the Tristan right here from, it's a stunner. It's just such a cool looking kit. Anyway, jumping right on into that full 360-degree spin so you can see every angle of it for yourself. Again, we've got panel lines all over the place that need your attention, of course. We've got some great gold weaving through everywhere. All the tiny little details look great. The white plastic on here almost has a little bit of a matte finish to it. We've got a semi-gloss sort of on the navy blue, and then of course we've got the metallic and clear parts. So even all the different colors of plastic on here do have a different finish to them too, which really gives it that overall premium finish. This kit is just absolutely beautiful, and considering how far SNAA have come in regard to these 1/44th scale kits is incredibly crazy. Actually, let's just talk about that now. And that would be this right here on the left hand side. That is the Thunder Insize Grace. Now I have done an entire video on this if you want to see the review. I was absolutely blown away by how great it is. But since then, SNAA have come so far. Not only is this Tristan right here a damn sight bigger in size, the overall build is quite a lot better too. This one has loosened up a little bit over time. I think it was a bit loose right out the gate, but it doesn't even feel like the same level of kit anymore. They've really taken it to the next level entirely. Now I did build this one as well, the Iron Sickle K, and this is definitely much closer to it in kind of style and overall feel. Again, this has loosened up a little bit too, so I'm not sure if that is the entire line. Actually, if you've got one or multiple of these guys, drop it down there in the comments. Has yours loosened up? Because this guy is definitely a bit on the loose side. This guy's really on the loose side. So it might be a case of these might be, you know, build them, pose them, and not move them around too much. But anyway, overall, loving these two. This one is nice, but just not quite as nice. Finally then, as for a bit of a quick size comparison, there it is beside a 1/44th scale Gundam kit. So that does mean if they're standing side by side with each other in reality about to face off, that's the actual size that would be side by side. And just if you're thinking pure model kits, there is a master grade Gundam kit as well. So if you want to know what size it'll be like on your shelf, it's pretty much exactly between real grade or high grade and master grade in height. And again, these kits are so nice, so it fits in perfectly. So jumping right on into the accessories, and here's absolutely everything that comes with the Tristan. So you get a lot in here. That is the absolutely massive, what I assume is the Titan Greatsword. We've got a standard sword too in here, which is nice. The shield, which looks absolutely stupendously good with that nice gold paint. And we do have some effect parts for around back, which is this cloak or mantle right here. On top of that, we do have an absolute mountain of hands. This isn't even all of them. I tried to build one of each type, but I didn't build one type because it was just taking so long. And then we do have two adapter segments in here. And as you can see, looking pretty cool in a bit of a crouch right there, be the Tristan. So anyway, I've got to ride up on a stand to get this equipped up because right now it is build miss. It means I am Just getting these outfitted, I can't really go through everything as in-depth as usual because I'm trying to thin out the backlog a little bit. So this is build 12. I counted 12 out of 50 so far, and let's check out what it comes with. Also, I will mention right here, because it just popped into my head, I think it's kind of funny that some of these Chinese designed mechas always have really long legs. Maybe, I'm not sure if it's the style they like to accentuate the overall height and all of that stuff, but to me it always makes the arms look like they're really itty bitty. So like really long legs, itty bitty arms. It's kind of funny, but overall still looks absolutely phenomenal. So in here we do have a whole load of hands. The hands I've left attached the whole time have been a pair of holding hands. Besides that, then we've got a pair of plain fists, no hole, widespread hands with very nice fingers. This is one of my absolute favorites, so it's kind of like a pointing hand. And the best by far is this heavy fucking metal hand, so that's pretty cool. It comes with 2 of all of these, and there is another kind of fist style hand in here as well, but I didn't get around to building that one. So checking out what it comes with, first is that mantle for round back, so a nice clear blue, catching the light nicely, made out of the exact same shade of color as we've seen on every little shiny part on the kit so far. This attaches just right up into the backpack like so, simple as, no moving of parts or anything like that. You just slide it on up, make sure it's aligned on both sides, and it just attaches right in. This is what it looks like attached, and the way the actual Gundam looks blue, whoop, slip of the tongue there, the way the mech looks from behind through the blue looks really cool. That is a very, very nice effect. Next up in here we've got the shield, and again, very, very nice. That navy blue with a little bit of a purple hue, I think. The gold framing that absolutely perfect around back. We've got some nice mechanical detail throughout all of that, and we do have a handle section up top. Now, what's really cool about this is we have a storage section for the smaller sword. This right here is the smaller sword, so again, we've got some gold on the hilt, a simple white blade, and overall looking nice. Of course, this can be used in the hand, but as I'm setting this up for display, it's going to be popped, slid right in here, and that is such a cool storage point. Nice. And in order to get this attached on, it just attaches into a little bit of a tab hole in the back of the forearm like so. Attaches on easily, but securely, and that is what it looks like attached. Moving the arm around with this attached, no issue whatsoever, and there's a little bit of a blocking pose. Next up then is the Titan Greatsword itself, and it's exactly what it says it is, a massive greatsword. We've got a pommel here at the end in gold. Grey moving up this way, we've got a shiny little segment just in the middle of the hilt there. A combination of grey moving into white for the blade, and we do have that nice touch of gold in the center too. This little section right here is for attaching this onto the backpack for storage. Onto this little section right here, and this actually leads me to a funny point. This kit is super, super undergated. I mean, so undergated, and to the point where I believe it might be a little too undergated because even the little adapter part right here has undergates on it. I mean, it's just an adapter. It does not ever need to be undergated. But I digress. As for attaching this weapon in, it's the age-old sandwich hand routine, which is great. So that means you just pop open the hand like 2 slices of bread, throw the sword on in like a slice of ham, and then pop it all together and it holds on nicely. Throwing it into the wrist then is just a ball joint just like so, and it seems to hold on quite well. Moving around does feel fluid enough that it would be kind of loose when attached, but it isn't. It holds it up absolutely perfectly and it looks badass. That is one absolutely massive over-the-top sword. In a pose, it looks absolutely astounding with this, but part of me kind of feels like I'd like to see what it looks like with the smaller sword. Anyway, I'm going to store the great sword right here away, so just popping this out of the hand, attaching on in the adapter, and then this can be stored in this little hole segment, a little something just like that right there. So that looks very, very nice, almost like it would reach back for this one as some kind of special move and use the kind of standard one a little bit more often. I've no idea. There should be some lore behind these guys. That'd be really, really cool. There might be. If there is, let me know, because I have no clue. And would be nice to know if they're just, you know, like just an original set of mechs, or if there is a little bit more to the lore behind them. There we go. Popped in the hand like so, into the wrist like that, and there's what it looks like with a more, I guess, reasonable sized sword attached. So now jumping on into the articulation. Again, it's only going to be the test pose because it is build miss. This is build 11, I think, of 50. Out of the box, this is rock solid, but I'm not sure how that will stand over time, quite literally, because these kits do tend to loosen up. Anyway, first off, sliding down that hip, getting it into that pose. If you've never felt one of these kits, they do not feel like gunpla when it comes to posing, because they're made out of a very kind of almost rubbery-esque plastic. It's not very rubbery, but it has that rubbery kind of feel to it. That means it does grip against itself quite a bit. It does mean it really isn't as fluid for, you know, constant posing, but it does feel like it might hold decently. Maybe over time, it's hard to tell whether it'll loosen up or not. Anyway, there's pretty much how it pulls off the pose, so take that with a little bit of a grain of salt because I'm not putting so much time into it, but overall, the posing on this feels quite nice. I'm going to try and get it into a nice pose once I get it in, well, with its accessories. Which, by the way, I'm about to do now, but you're going to see it the other way around in the actual video because I do actually flip those parts. Anyway, woo! So anyway, that right there is it for the review of the SNAA Tristan. I'm not going to rank this kit right here because I do feel it wouldn't really be fair. I didn't spend enough time with it after the build, but all I can really comment on is the actual build. The build of this is phenomenal. The plastic is so soft and easy to work with, everything attaches together brilliantly. These are the only kits that to me have reached the same level of enjoyment in the build as Bandai's kits, and that is saying a lot. I've tried a whole load of different brands, Japanese included, and nothing is quite as good besides SNAA here. As for how they hold up over time, the other two I do have do feel like they've loosened up quite a bit, mainly because of the kind of rubbery style plastic that is used in here. I'm not sure if that's the case with this because visually, this is so much nicer. The build of this one, also so much nicer, so it may hold up over time a little bit more. If not, they still look great as absolute units when they are displayed, because just look at this thing, it is beautiful, catches the light perfectly. The overall design is impeccable, the color choice is phenomenal, and what we've got in the end is one gorgeous looking mecha model kit. Now honestly, I cannot wait to build some more of these, especially going forward considering how better they're getting time and time again. All I can say is 100% highly recommended. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. Come back again tomorrow for the 13th build of Buildmas, and as always, I'll see you next time. As always, this video right here and every single video I make would not be possible without each and every one of you guys who watches this video, and special thanks at the end of this video right here to those who support on the channel memberships as well as over on Patreon, including Caleb Engelhart, Joe, OG59061, Scotty Thomas, and Simon.